Well, it's the end of February, and all those goals that you wrote down probably are falling by the wayside right now. So now let's reconfigure those goals in a way that they fit your real life. Hi, I'm Crystal for CrystyleCouture, and most of us are creating goals that no way, shape, or form fit our real life, which is why we create those goals, because we're ready for a new life. And I get that, but they're not sustainable in any way. Hence why the end of February is here and the gyms are now empty and everybody's lost the motivation to work out. I introduced to you this 3-part framework. Now, I haven't quite figured out what I'm going to call it yet. Maybe like the reinvention framework or the burnout free framework. Comment below and let me know what you think of those. Into a life-friendly framework, here we are breaking down your goals, your reinvention, your life change that can help you stay consistent. I will say this in every single video until it actually sticks. But if your life is too full, anything that you add to it will feel overwhelming, even if it's something that you want, which is why we need to do capacity first planning. This is when you look at your daily schedule and you prioritize. What are things I have to do? What are things I need to do? What are things I want to do daily? You need to limit your time wasters and look at your schedule and capacity realistically. For example, my Mondays through Wednesdays are really full, and my capacity on those days is really low. Whereas my Thursdays through Sundays are lighter. I have a lot less brain heavy tasks and more flexible time. Those are usually the days I try to do most of my filming, most of my creative thoughts, most of my script writing, because my brain isn't so overloaded and I can actually think outside of my work and daily tasks. Except for Fridays during high school basketball season, it gets a little busy then. But after that, it slows down a teensy bit. Once you have pinpointed your daily capacity, then you can plan a daily schedule realistically, putting in systems to help you reach your goals. Here, you're putting your capacity first, helping you to prevent burnout and limit the guilt. Side note, you should bake in some cycle thinking into this schedule as well. I don't know about you, but when I'm in the thick of that, I can barely get through my work days, let alone doing anything extra. The second part of this framework is on focusing on a season as opposed to goal planning for the entire year. This is very similar to the 12-week year format, where you plan in 4 12-week blocks instead of annually. These are meant to be high-intensity sprints that increase focus, urgency, and accountability. But for us, I want you to plan your 12-week goals based on the seasons in your life. For example, if you're an accountant, planning a whole bunch of goals during tax season is not really feasible for your real life, because that's time you've been working long hours and not have a whole lot of time or capacity for anything else. Or if you're a mom during travel ball season, you know 3 months out the year you guys are traveling all over. Please don't put your hardest goals during that time, because you won't have the capacity to do anything. You're barely even at home. Or if you're a content creator, usually Q3 and Q4 are very heavy on work and paid brand deals. So that's usually not the time for you to make some of these large goals like I'm gonna post every single day, because some of that stuff is really hard to do when you're doing all this other work. The goals that are going to require more from you need to be planned during those lighter life seasons. Also, it needs to be said that during these quarters, we're not making 8 to 10 humongous goals. Instead, we're sticking to 1 to 4 goals and those daily, weekly, and monthly systems to get us there. Only looking at 1 to 2 life areas per quarter. That way it's not too heavy. Remember, your goals and tasks need to be clear, measurable, and trackable, i.e. on your daily schedule, because we all know if it's not on the daily schedule, it won't get done. Before we get into the last part of the framework, I want to thank you for making it this far in the video and ask that you like the video and subscribe to the channel. It helps me reach more women like you who are going through this life change together. For those girlies who wake up at 2 a.m. and decide I'm going to change my whole life tomorrow and rebrand everything, you're not going to like this. But in this framework, we're trying to change 1 to 2 habits that facilitate growth, not massive life overhauls. We are looking for those 1 to 3 key habits that over time will result in real change. One of the key habits that I changed was watching TV during the week. For me, I would get off work, I would do all the things in the house, do all my content stuff, and then when it comes 10:30, 11, I'm finally sitting down and calming down for the night, and I would say, oh, let me watch a show, which would turn into 3 shows, which would result in me going to bed really late and waking up tired and brain foggy and just a mess. That was a very bad cycle. Now, when I do get into bed, I try to read for 20 minutes or so to hopefully be asleep by 11. That way, in theory, I'm getting a good enough amount of sleep and able to wake up feeling refreshed the next day and focused to get all these goals that I'm trying to achieve accomplished. I need for you to find 1 to 2 non-negotiable habits per season that you're going to change. These habits may be very small, but they will compound over time to result in real change and actually achieving those goals. With this framework, you can create change in a more meaningful and sustainable way without the guilt and without the burnout. You don't need more discipline, you need better design. It's these types of frameworks that I'm using to create my reinvention playbook. You can sign up to be notified with the link below. This is for my women who are over 35, who don't have unlimited time and unlimited energy, who are carrying families, careers, transitions, and even grief. I know what it's like to be the strong one on the outside, but internally you're struggling through life, desperate for change, but you have limited resources, time, and brain power. I was that, and despite all of the work that I've done to change and reinvent myself, sometimes I still feel like that. But you and I have to keep going, even if it's finding your minimum effective effort and doing just that for a day, for a week. Those seemingly small steps will compound over time. So with that being said, keep pushing. You got this, and I'll see you in the next video.